For this session, we want to talk about being an everyday leader. When we talk about leadership, a question is, what comes to your mind when you think about a highly influential leader? Perhaps you think of a great leader of history like an Abraham Lincoln. Or perhaps for you, you think of a successful business executive, somebody like a Carly Fiorina. Carly, who was the CEO of Hewlett-Packard, became the first woman to lead a top 20 company as ranked by Fortune magazine. Perhaps for you, when you think of influential leadership, you think of someone for social justice like a Martin Luther King Jr. Or maybe it's the compassionate influence of a Mother Teresa. What all of these leaders have in common is they are highly visible leaders. And sometimes these highly influential, highly visible leaders set a standard for leadership that seems unattainable for the rest of us. So at SOAR, we like to talk about everyday leaders. Leaders who are perhaps less visible but still have tremendous influence. We like to illustrate the concept of an everyday leader with this iceberg. Imagine that this is the water line for the iceberg. Above the water line is the visible part of the iceberg, but underneath the waterline is actually where the largest part of the iceberg exists. And that's how it is with leadership. There are a few highly visible leaders in the world, but the majority of influence happens when everyday people like you and me, choose to make a difference. When we choose to have influence in the people's lives around us. In fact, think back on your own life. Who has made the biggest influence in your life? Now, perhaps for you it was a coach, or maybe a teacher growing up. Someone that was on the field of athletics or in the classroom at school. Perhaps for you it was a family member, a parent, an uncle, an aunt, a grandparent. Or maybe for you it was somebody at work, say a boss, or a coworker. A boss who took some interest in your life, believed that you could have some leadership potential, or maybe a coworker when they just showed up, their approach to life was so inspiring to you. Well, today we want to invite you to become an everyday leader. Choose to have influence when the people around you. Choose to make a difference and impact their lives in seemingly small ways, but in ways that will last for a lifetime.